Drink Cinema! Cheers. Welcome to another episode of Two Drink Cinema. We are 2 out of 3 brothers reviewing movies 2 drinks at a time. Hello, Brett.
Hello. Sorry, I'm an asthmatic serial killer.
It's like in a thing.
Yeah, how do you not know that he's not dead? Because you would be able to hear him breathe, Laurie. I almost called it Carrie Laurie.
I think we hear him breathe.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Is that meant to add to suspense, but
Yes.
not really?
Well, it does. It's a moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are reviewing Halloween. The night he came home is the tagline.
He.
That little kid that
with the
stabbed
clown.
her sister in the tits.
Yep.
Fair tits on her. Anyway,
Oh, God.
we'll get to that. You have a drink,
I have made a
which
cocktail.
I'm going to think you are calling the jack-o'-lantern.
It's a Michael Myers. Ooh.
Oh.
And that's the blood on its tits.
But it's orange.
Like a pumpkin. Like a pumpkin. Like a pumpkin. And it almost looks like candy corn,
True.
which I intended.
Yeah.
So it's got in it
No pumpkin flavouring.
no
though.
pumpkin flavouring.
It's a pumpkin spice martini.
It's
no?
no, God no. Bacardi, Southern Comfort, Fanta, orange juice, Cointreau, grenadine for the bloodness.
Okay. So this is going to taste like grenadine.
This is going to taste like orange at the start and grenadine at the end.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
pretty good.
It's orangey.
I think it needs more orange juice.
Yeah, could do.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
reckon more orange juice, less Fanta.
Yep.
Could mix it up a bit.
The picture of that and the quantities will be on our socials at 2 out of 3 brothers. Not on TikTok because you can't make a video out of a picture. Can you share mine too?
It's basically just like a Bacardi sunrise.
Yeah. With Southern Comfort in it. Anyway, this is 45 years since John Carpenter's Halloween first graced our screens and then went on for another 44 years until we got Halloween Ends last year.
Until Jamie Lee went, oh, maybe I should make real movies.
Yeah, maybe I should get out of horror and win an Oscar.
Yeah.
Oscar winner Jamie Lee Curtis's big break, other than her parents, which we'll talk about later. This is... So I'm going to talk about the story of it.
Yep.
And whenever I say the word trope, I want everybody to realise that this made them tropes.
I thought you were going to everybody take a drink.
Yeah. This film is widely considered as the birth of the modern slasher film. Mm-hmm. And most of the tropes, including everything that the very meta Wes Craven's Scream talks about in slashers, is because of this movie.
Yeah.
And then we had the 80s, which was a decade of slashers with
Elm
all Friday
Street.
the 13th, Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw. They all fit into that genre and they all fit into basically this formula that John Carpenter gave us, as well as the 10 other Halloween movies.
Yeah.
Fitting into the tropes that John Carpenter created. One thing, so we get the start, right? And it's Halloween night, I assume. It is, yeah.
It is Halloween night, 1963.
Yeah. And a couple is getting naughty in a house,
Yeah.
a boy and a girl. And then about 12 seconds later, the boy leaves. And that makes the kid want to kill the sister.
Yeah, he just decides to stab the sister, not the boy.
No. Well, the boy was
Already gone.
in and out of there so quick he had no time.
I was going to say he'd come and gone.
Yes, he'd already left by the time it took 6-year-old Michael Myers the time to pick up the knife.
Yeah.
I feel like the 1978 Michael Myers is older than 21.
Yes, I was thinking that too.
Like he feels like he's much older than 21. But anyway, he's meant to be 21. The first few shots, as you're following Michael Myers from Michael Myers' point of view, is good. There's a bit of camera movement.
Yeah.
But it's not like Blair Witch.
Yeah, even if the camera height doesn't match the height of a 6-year-old boy.
Yeah.
But I won't go into that.
It's not an amazingly hot... It's a low budget film.
Yes.
But made a lot of money and made a lot of other horror directors also a lot of money. I'll save that for you to talk about impact. One thing I realised in this watching, in our first review, which you can go back and check on the past episodes, we used to rate on the horniness of a movie. And this scored a 5.
Yeah.
And we did talk about how quick the sex is when the boy and the girl go upstairs and then the boy leaves 11 seconds later or something.
Yeah.
Very lucky that he did, because...
He did?
No. Or, well, actually, yeah, he'd be dead. I wrote that the parents would have caught them.
Yeah,
because the parents get home like a minute and a half after.
Yeah.
Michael walks into the house and the boyfriend leaves.
Yeah, like, wouldn't you have started your coitus earlier, knowing that your parents were coming home at some point? Don't do it at the end of the night.
Well, like Jamie Lee Curtis's Slut Friends later.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as the parents are gone, she rings the boy.
She rings the boy and goes, you can come over. And then as soon as the other shit friends go, Lindsay's not going to be home all night. Like, oh, great, let's have sex in her bedroom.
Yeah. Odd friends. They obviously had budgetary limitations in terms of how much and what they could show in the killing. But to show it through the mask was pretty good, I think.
Yes. Although you still saw plenty of,
quote unquote blood. Oh, tits.
Yeah. Well, and blood. Yeah.
There were plenty of tits. That's a very 70s thing, I think. But also seems to be a bit of a horror thing, is attractive girls.
Yeah.
That may or may not get their tits out. Then we get forward or flash to the current time of 1978, and we get the horror trope. This was the one that was a trope before John Carpenter. Dark and Stormy Night.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's going right back to Mary Shelley, The Dark and Stormy Night.
Yeah.
And
then even, like, you have to, like, it's too dark and stormy, and I'm driving. I have to pull off into this weird motel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even that one. And so we're going to pick up Michael Myers to move him somewhere else.
Yes.
But the doctor, who I never caught the name of...
Loomis.
Oh, yeah, Loomis. Is convinced that he is pure evil, even though he's never said a word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He killed one person 15 years ago.
And has sat in silence since.
Yeah, so pure evil.
Yep.
He's a shit doctor.
We skip over the bit of how he got out.
Yep.
And he just steals a car.
Yeah.
And then he's off. We get back to Haddonfield and we get to see the Myers house as a way of introducing Laurie and Strode Realty.
Strode Realty,
Yes, because she has to go there. And then the kid asks a million questions.
Yep.
About it, but she puts the keys under She puts the keys... she puts the keys, under the doormat, and then she's away. We get some following, and then we get a scene in the classroom, and it's very clear that this movie is going to focus on this one girl, Laurie.
Yeah.
Which is a very slasher trope thing now, to have a movie centered around one girl.
Yeah.
Nev Campbell. Jennifer Love Hewitt.
And Anna Faris.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And, but we also established that she's smart, and then they walk home, and that's how we establish that she's a virgin.
Yeah.
Because all her friends can talk about is dick.
Yep.
And she just wants to do her knitting and study.
Yeah. She's a Girl Scout. But like, I think I said this when we did it last time. Shit friends.
Absolutely shit friends.
Get better friends, or
Yep.
actually don't have any. She'd be better off if she didn't have any friends.
Yeah, probably. Because then she'd just be in the house with the boy and the friends would just have gotten murdered across the street.
Yep.
End of
And then
story.
she wouldn't have gone over to check on her friend.
She wouldn't know until because 100% her friends would not have come over to check on her.
Oh, no, because they were having sex.
They had the phone off the hook and they were having
Yeah.
sex. So they would not have been checking on Laurie.
Yep.
So maybe they deserve to die for being shit friends.
Yep.
Michael Myers arrives in town very quickly for someone who has been incarcerated since the age of 6, but can drive. And
I like that they acknowledge that, though.
yeah,
It goes, he can't drive. He was doing well this morning.
yeah, maybe someone from here taught him.
Yeah, which I didn't quite get that line.
Yeah, well, maybe that was just John Carpenter. Like, we need to say something about the fact that he just drove a car.
It's like somebody on the set was like, would he know how to drive? And he's like, oh, let me put that in somewhere.
Because it's 1978. It's a manual.
Yeah,
Like,
I can't even drive a manual.
no, but you can probably jump in a car if you know that there is accelerator and brake. You can
Yeah.
probably drive an automatic car.
And clutch? No.
Yeah, but then you get into clutch, changing gears. He would
And
have
it's like,
stalled.
that would
100%.
be hilarious. Why is there no spoof of that?
Scary
he goes,
movie.
No. Weird, right? That he gets in the car and then he's just like, and can't drive. That would be hilarious to me.
Probably not enough mass appeal. Because not everyone's watching this movie going, he shouldn't be able to drive. Not everyone's
okay.
going to that level, I don't think.
Well, do better, people.
But he loiters a lot in Haddonfield, which is good in that it builds him up as a creepy threat.
Yeah.
But I also wonder, because the sheriff says to Dr. Loomis, this is just a quiet town of families. And I get the vibe that everybody knows each other.
Yes.
So would you not notice Michael Myers
Well, I
just
would
hanging around?
be like, why is there a strange man in a
Mask.
jumpsuit and a mask?
Yeah.
A William Shatner mask.
And is Laurie the only one that notices him outside the
The school?
school?
Yes.
Anyway. the
But it's that thing again, it's like nobody notices, it's like another trope.
Yeah, and the trope is that only this one girl notices, so nobody believes her.
Well, that's more that the kid. Later on it's like, I saw the boogeyman, and she's like, there's nobody out there.
Well, yeah, because she went through the whole thing to convince herself that it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So, but before that, we get I liked that we don't get a scene of Michael Myers getting the mechanic and killing him and then getting his clothes.
Yes.
That's just added into the doctor chasing him to Haddonfield, the same way that the robbery of the hardware store establishes how he got knives and masks.
Yes.
So we didn't need those scenes, but
We didn't go, somebody robbed and stole a mask and a chainsaw and two knives,
No, well, we got that explanation, but we didn't have a scene, which allows, I think, to build the boogeyman idea of Michael Myers, because we don't see a lot of scenes of him.
Yeah.
And generally that's become a thing in slasher movies, is that, well, and probably that was a bit of a horror thing before that, is that you don't really see the killer or the threat full on.
Yeah.
Like Psycho, you don't really see, you just see the hand with the knife.
Yeah.
And you just see him watching through the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't need that extra scene of him killing the mechanic or him robbing the hardware store, because that would make us see him more and make him less spooky, creepy, threatening.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. But then the road is wet for some reason,
Uh-huh.
because they didn't have time to wait for the road to
Didn't
dry,
have-
I imagine, on this low-budget flick. The killer, another thing that's become a trope in these slasher movies is that the person who is looking for the killer, the cop, the Dr. Loomis, whoever, always comes close to them without knowing.
Ooh, like after the robbery.
After the robbery, Michael Myers drives behind Dr. Loomis, who's looking forward instead of turning around.
Yes.
And that's become, I don't know if it's become a trope, and I'm sure that the scary movies take the piss out of the fact that nobody in horror movies has peripheral vision.
Yep.
Because even in the very first scene, the boyfriend walks down the stairs and doesn't see young Michael in the lounge room.
Yes.
And Dr. Loomis has a car drive close behind him, but he doesn't turn to look.
Yeah.
And then when Laurie is walking into the house to babysit, she doesn't just like clock him across the street, staring at her.
Yeah.
So once you are in a horror movie, you don't have peripheral vision anymore. That seems to be a thing.
Yeah. Well, because it's a comment. You're focused on the one thing that you can't see what else is around you.
Oh, and she's
focused
not focused
on him,
on sex,
but can't
though.
see him.
So another thing that they put into this movie that seems to have become a bit of a thing is dialogue that talks about killing.
Yeah.
Early when they talk, Annie, I think, or the other Linda, yells out speed kills
to
Michael
Annie.
Myers. Yeah.
Ugh.
But then Linda says to Annie, you're going to get us all into big trouble.
Yes.
And there's a couple more. Oh, yeah, when she rings, but she's getting choked while she's on the phone to Laurie. Laurie says, I'll kill you if this is a joke.
Yeah.
So a lot of those lines have become, those types of lines have become things in horror movies. The girls are terrible, both as friends, but also as babysitters.
Yeah.
Because Annie's just like, I'll just go across the street. I got to go and get my boyfriend.
Yeah.
But that does give us a reason for Jamie Lee Curtis to not worry that Annie's not in the house.
You know what I would do as well?
Yes.
I would babysit the kids together. Oh, no, but they're going to have sex. Yeah, okay. Continue.
They don't want to hang out with Laurie
No, continue. That's fine.
because they're going to have sex
I was
instead.
like, they're just across the street. Part of me was like, why keep ringing them? Just go across the street.
Well, probably one thing that's good for these families is that the shit babysitters are out of commission.
Well, the good thing for Laurie is she's the only babysitter left in the town.
Well, that's it. Now,
so she's got a monopoly on the business.
Now, instead of each of those families hiring a babysitter, they just take all the kids to the house that Laurie's in across the street. And then they're fine and they're probably safer.
Because 100% Lindsay's parents, who is babysitted by Annie, they 100% called Laurie first. And she's like, oh, sorry, I'm already babysitting Tommy Jones or whatever his fucking name is. And then they go, we'll call Annie. 100%. That's just part of the story now.
It's like, that's your headcanon is what they call it.
Headcanon, okay.
Yeah, that's what they call it, is when
I made it up in my head.
Yeah, that's it. It's when you make up details about the story in your head. That's your headcanon. It's like fan theory, but more made up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Headcanon.
Doctor just goes on and on and on and will tell anyone that will listen how evil he is. But no one does listen.
Yeah. He's shit. That's why. But I have to talk like this.
Yeah, he's very dramatic.
He is.
Donald Pleasance. Who was the only one worth putting in the credits, really.
Yeah. Pleasance with.
Donald Pleasance with and introducing.
Yeah.
They have the little things like Annie goes out of the house to go to her boyfriend, which makes Laurie not check on her and assume that she's okay. She's just with Paul, even though she's been choked.
Yeah.
Then Linda and Bob take the phone off the hook. That phone call was 100% Lindsay's parents, and they ignored the phone.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, let's take the phone off the hook, because that won't make Lindsay's parents even more suspicious.
Yeah.
Then they all get killed, basically. And it's good. I liked it because it was actually dark. Probably because they couldn't afford the kind of lights that make things look dark, but you can still see stuff.
Yeah, but there were some very good... I think I said this last time. There were some very good shots in there.
Yeah. When Bob's walking through the kitchen and goes to the closets, I like that it was the second closet that Michael Myers jumped out of.
Yes.
Just adds a little bit more
because you're just like, oh, don't come in the closet.
Yeah, you're just
don't
like,
come behind the door.
You're like,
Scary movie.
He's just jumping out of the closet.
Yeah.
But then when he doesn't, you're like, oh, well, he's not here. But then he is.
And then he stabs him.
With the world's longest knife. It must be.
Stabs him
up
with
on the
enough
wall.
strength in a knife. That is a ad for a steak knife, if I have ever seen one.
Yeah. It's an ad for whatever gym they had at the asylum as well.
Why is that on a Family Guy skit? I'm just going to write that Family Guy skit.
Tweet Seth MacFarlane. And you'll get it in there.
Family Guy tweet about knife sales.
Then Laurie, because she's the only one of them that's a good friend, goes to check on them. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of effort. He must be very strong, Michael Myers. Evil makes you strong.
Sure how. Yep.
Evil just makes you strong.
Just having a mental deficiency.
I want to know, was he carrying around that headstone the whole time, just waiting for women to kill in a house? Because then he carries the headstone into Lindsay's house, up the stairs and puts it on the bed above Linda. Where did he have the headstone that whole time? Oh, in the car.
But the car wasn't... When there were shots of the house, there was no car.
But then Dr. Loomis
Bob's car.
sees the car.
And then walks for 4 kilometres.
And then he's like, I know where he is. Like, but it seems like you saw the car outside the Myers house.
Yes.
Because that's where Dr. Loomis was hanging out.
Yeah, but then he was like, he's got to be around here somewhere.
Anyway, they filmed it about 4 days, so we'll forgive them for the continuity.
But that gravekeeper, oh my God.
Oh, the way
you lost, like, on. What number are we? 1, 2? No, but it's fucking, you know which one it is,
He starts counting from 18.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, oh, where are we? 18, like...
Because he knows that John Smith's grave
is 18.
That's his favourite grave.
Yeah.
So that's number 18. He's like, knows that.
18, 19. Oh, I didn't expect this. Like, well, you should have. Because this guy's just told you he's evil and Michael Myers is back.
Yeah. And then Dr. Loomis is just like, whose grave is it? I'm like, you fucking know, mate.
We all know.
You know.
We all know.
It was someone who somehow magically just picked up a gravestone straight out of the ground.
Straight up.
With no edgings.
No moving, no
wiggling
shoveling,
back and forth, no shoveling.
He's super strong.
He must have a pretty good gym in the
Pinderschloss.
In the Pinderschloss.
Yeah. So we get the reveal of all the dead bodies. We see the gravestone over Linda. Mm. The way Bob swings down out of the closet is great.
Yeah.
And then the door opens out of nowhere on itself, so we can see Annie's tits out in the... Mm-hmm. Was that Linda? Which one
That's Linda.
Was in the wardrobe?
Linda.
Oh, Annie's on the bed.
Yep.
Then one of the great shots that I think is still our cover photo on Facebook.
Yes.
Is 2 years later. Is Brett standing here... And then Michael Myers slowly being revealed out of the wardrobe.
I like that shot. Like, that is very good.
Considering the limitations of their lighting, and they probably didn't have the best cameras.
Yeah.
And they probably only had like 2 or 3 times to try it because of the timetable. Mm. That's a very good shot.
Yeah.
Much better than the shot that follows where Jamie Lee Curtis falls down the stairs.
Much better.
Yeah.
The other shot that's good is... Oh, you go.
No.
I'm jumping ahead. You know when after she stabs him for the 3rd time?
With the
knife.
The coat hanger?
With the knife.
Okay, yeah.
And she's sitting in the doorway because that's what I would do. I wouldn't get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. Well, she's just had this adrenaline rush. She needs a moment,
mate. And
she thinks he's dead.
Yeah, well, you can hear him breathe. And then he's lying, and then he just, like, in the background, just goes...
Yeah,
very good.
But then Dr. Loomis is there to shoot a whole gun into him.
Yep.
And he still survives.
Uh-huh.
So he's been stabbed in the neck with a knitting needle.
Yep. Stabbed in the eyes
Stabbed
with
in the
a coat
eye
hanger.
with a coat hanger. Stabbed somewhere with his own knife.
Gut?
Well, that's
Because
the
I
knife
was
that
trying
held
to
up
think-
Bob. So I
trying
don't know
to
how he
think
survives.
Because she went double-handed.
Yeah.
She was sitting on the... I was trying to think of the, like, CSI trajectory of a knife. I think, like, in the gut.
Yeah, maybe.
Or in the lower stomach.
Okay.
Not the dick. But, like the stomach, rather than, like, your
Up the rib cage.
diaphragm.
Yep.
Your, lower intestines.
Where the guy from I Know What You Did Last Summer hooks people up under the guts.
Yeah.
Lower there. Okay, well...
Because I was trying to think,
we won't
she's
know.
on the ground. He's like 6'8".
Yeah, at 21.
And then up.
Okay.
But it didn't do anything, so it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't matter. And then Dr. Loomis shoots him 5 times. I think he misses one.
I think he shoots him... Well, 6, because if there's 6 bullets in there...
Yeah, but I think he
might
misses
miss
one.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, and then also he falls from the second story.
He jumps,
But then just gets up and walks away, which no one notices.
Well, nobody notices the gunshots.
Nobody cares.
Or the girl running around screaming.
The sheriff, who is also Annie's dad...
Yeah, of course.
Doesn't...
Scary movie.
Seems to think that it's a pretty safe town.
Yeah.
Right? And if you thought that, wouldn't then if a girl... Who's probably
it's always the kids. It's
Yeah.
just doing a Halloween prank, though.
No, well, that's true. Yeah, that must be it. And the guns, they probably think is the fireworks for Halloween or someone setting off firecrackers.
That's what happened last night when the fireworks went off near my house.
And
I thought it was guns.
maybe people don't think much about Michael Myers because it's Halloween. So they think it's a
just
guy in a
someone
costume.
dressing up.
But running and screaming and looking for help without anyone responding is another thing that's become a trope.
Yeah.
Which started with this. I did think, because I kind of forgot, I did think when Laurie stabs him in the neck with the knitting needles, he goes down pretty easily.
Yeah.
But then 3 more times he's not dead.
She's got good aim.
Yeah.
Like, she's not even looking at him.
She gets him straight away.
The YouTube... Again, a treat today with these mimicking how people get stabbed.
The scene in the wardrobe that's just the two of them is pretty intense.
It is.
It's very
especially
close.
when he is just shaking that door as hard as he can.
Yeah.
And it stays on its hinges. So well-made door.
Yeah. This man lifted a whole gravestone but can't open the wardrobe.
Can't break it. But not the smartest from Laurie. I guess she didn't have many options. Because moments earlier...
Yep.
You saw him punch through a full wooden door.
That's true. In the
and go,
bathroom.
I'm going to go to the...
Flimsy slatted door.
Yeah, and just tie it up, and then he won't notice. But then she opened the thing, so he was meant to walk in and think that she went out the balcony.
But she, at this point, is breathing louder than him.
Yeah.
She's like, oh,
no.
The little kids survive, which is good.
I'm glad they do.
Yeah. You probably couldn't kill little kids.
No.
Halloween is ruined for those children from now on, though.
Yeah.
And Laurie, we know that from 8 more movies. So the story is good. The making of it is also good when you consider the budget. And I like that people generally still now do consider the budget.
I think that not even putting into consideration the budget, it's still a well-made movie in terms of a slasher movie.
And I think it proves that you don't have to have a big budget to make a good movie.
No, especially when you're doing it in terms of like suspense.
Yep.
Like you don't need suspense of fancy effects and stuff. It's just, her going into a car and he just pops up in the back seat. That doesn't cost much.
No.
It's fucking a little bit scary.
So the budget of Halloween, what did you say it was like $35,000?
No, 350 or something.
Oh, okay. But took
300,000, 325, and then it made 47 million.
Well, this Google says maybe the worldwide box office was 70 million.
Okay.
And you're looking at the
American one.
American box office. Yeah. For comparison, that's more than 10 times, isn't it? Yes.
That's 145 times.
Wes Craven spent $15 million on Scream. and it took 173.
The biggest one really is...
So the conversion of Halloween's much higher.
I remember it being a thing when it came out, was Blair Witch.
Oh, I thought you were saying you remember something when Halloween came out about it.
I do. No, the Blair Witch is the biggest one in terms of its
conversion.
Budget. Its budget was $60,000 because it's just a couple of camcorders in a woods and a snot. And then it made $140 million. So its multiplier, this thing has 2,341.
Wow.
And then what did they do after that?
Yeah, that's odd. Saw would have a pretty good...
I think Saw's up there.
Yeah.
Clerks.
But in terms of horror movies...
Yeah.
So they made the first Saw for...
Texas Chainsaw Massacre was $300,000. It made $30 million.
They made the first Saw for $1.2 million.
Well, this also says that the budget...
And it took $103 million worldwide.
So the $300,000 budget would translate to $1.4 million in 2022.
So that's pretty comparable to what Saw was made for.
Yeah.
$1.2 million in 2004. Although Saw, or Spiral, the most recent of the Saw movies... cost $20 million to make and took $39 million at the box office. So, James Wan, your returns are diminishing.
Well, I have some questions.
Okay, yes. About the story?
If you were babysitting someone and you're
Yep.
making popcorn...
Yep.
And then you got blood. Shit. Sorry, spoiler alert. You got butter.
Yes.
Would you get fully naked in a stranger's kitchen?
No, I wrote that in my notes too. And he just strips and then puts on one of the dad's shirts.
Yeah. And then just walks around. She's like, I can't go out. I'm wearing a shirt. I'm like, fuck off. Just go.
But she also strips and then says, Lindsay, bring me a robe.
Yeah.
So Lindsay's just going to walk in, you get your tits out?
Then after he kills her in the car.
Yep.
Which is good because it's locked and then it's unlocked and then she's like, but it's foggy.
From the breathing.
Yeah, he just, yeah. He's asthmatic. He just carries the body out the front of the house.
Yeah.
Not shy about it at all.
No.
Do you reckon somebody else, if they saw it, was probably like...
poor drunk chick.
Wow, that's a good decoration. It's quite elaborate
Now,
Halloween decoration.
These kids and their drunk Halloween parties.
And it's also quite lucky that... no trick-or-treaters go to either of those houses.
Yeah. But Lindsay and Tommy also don't trick-or-treat.
No. You're just going to stay in. We'll make popcorn.
And do a jack-o'-lantern.
And do a jack-o'-lantern and watch a scary movie and read comic books.
Watch movies that you definitely should not be watching at that age.
We talked about Loomis was shooting.
Yep.
Shoot.
Yep.
Then Michael Myers falls, in quotation marks, off the balcony. And then it goes to a shot back to Loomis. And then he goes, click, to shoot again. I'm like, what are you shooting at?
He's gone, mate. Like, he's fallen off the balcony.
Maybe you should have gone to the balcony and tried to shoot him again so he wouldn't have got up and got away.
Maybe that's just a little bit of adrenaline, still getting a shot off.
I reckon he's just shit.
Maybe.
Yep.
I like that he's like, oh, I do have a permit for it, to the sheriff. And then he pulls it out of the sheriff doesn't care. You seem a very scared man. Like, I've literally just spent 10 minutes telling you how evil this man is. Mm. He's so evil that he has super strength.
Yeah. He's a villain that has super strength.
Yeah.
He's like the anti-Superman.
Yeah. Without heat ray vision.
Yeah. Instead, he's got asthma.
Do you want to talk about the impact? I've alluded to things.
Alluded on it, and a lot of it is the kind of influence on future horror, specifically the subgenre of horror of slasher movies.
Yep.
That is, we touched on tropes. Final girl trope. Killing off characters that have sluts, to put it better. And then kind of using a bit of a theme for a killer. You know, he has his own basically theme music.
Yeah, yeah.
The music of this is very good.
It's good. It also uses silence well, though, the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that suspense.
Yeah.
Suspense is created in the silence. I don't know if
thanks,
that's a
Alfred.
quote, but...
Oh, it feels like something Alfred would say.
If not, you heard it here first,
I'm
everybody.
going to Google it.
I'm going to have that printed on my tombstone.
Yeah, for all the suspense movies.
And then every now and then my hand's just going to come up like Carrie.
When I type in suspense is created in the silence,
It comes up as Brett from Two Drink Cinema.
It comes up as, how is suspense achieved in Silence of the Lambs?
Oh.
So I'm going to put in quotation marks. There's not any matches.
I did it. I made a quote.
Make sure you put it in your blog post about Halloween so people actually find our website.
Suspenses. I'm going to make it on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it on a mug. Yep. So then, you know, we talked on 80s, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, then later Scream, all that kind of stuff with the, slashers.
Yes.
It had, wait, let me count on. Halloween 2.
Yep.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Which is, for some reason, unrelated to Halloween,
Okay.
Michael Myers.
Halloween 4.
It's like about a coven.
They also stopped using Roman numerals. Halloween 4, just the number 4. The Return of Michael Myers.
Okay, good.
Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, 1 year later. Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. Halloween H2O, 20 years later, which I remember us watching in a caravan park.
Yes.
Well, I didn't watch all of it. Halloween Resurrection.
Yep.
Halloween, again.
Yes.
Halloween Kills.
Yep.
And finally, Halloween finally ended.
So what's that? 10
1,
or
2,
up?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah.
10 Halloween movies, just to round it out.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Well, yeah, we launched Jamie Lee Curtis, which we'll touch on a bit more later.
She's very good.
Basically, she was cast because she's Janet Leigh's daughter.
Yep.
She was like, I don't know this person. Then I found out she was Janet Leigh's daughter, so I cast her.
Well, isn't there a whole lot of other tributes in names and stuff?
Well, somebody's
that John
named
Carpenter had?
Somebody's named Marion. And there's also, I got a bit of the swinging of the light bulb when she's in the wardrobe.
Yeah, yeah. So there is, because we talked about it in the last episodes. Where is it? Loomis, Detective
Sam Loomis
is from
Sam Loomis is the boyfriend
in
Psycho.
And
Is Nancy the sister?
I don't know.
Or Laurie? Yeah.
Yeah, but there are names.
There are names.
Loomis is one of them. Who else?
There was someone else. I can't think of it now.
The sheriff has a name
He does have a name.
that is a tribute to something else as well.
He's Detective Hitchcock.
Yeah. And they were going to name Michael Myers Alfred.
But they were like,
Batman was
they were going to
coming
name
out, so
him Anthony Perkins. Some would say it could also have launched Kyle Richards, who, as I touched on, is now also in The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And she's done acting before, but nothing really that great.
that was Annie or Linda, wasn't it?
That was Lindsay.
Oh, Lindsay, the girl, yes. Yes.
And she doesn't look anything like she does now, mainly because of plastic surgery.
But also, 45 years.
45 years. Yeah, then it's referenced and shown in other movies. Friday the 13th, Shining, Nightmare on Elm Street, Donnie Darko. Surprisingly, I couldn't think or find any parody of it in any of the Scary Movie movies. Because Scary Movie 1 is very much just Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
Mixed with The Matrix for some reason.
It's hard. Well,
the only thing is that the Anna Faris's dad is the sheriff. And I don't know if that's this or if that was also in Scream.
No,
Anna Faris's dad isn't the sheriff. Her brother's in the police force.
Yeah, that's from Scream.
Okay.
Yep. The only thing
a drug dealer.
that I think about is like when they slow walk follow. Like they do that. I'm sure they do that in Scary Movie.
Yeah.
But like every slasher killer slow walk follows.
Yeah.
So which one are you taking the piss out of in Scary Movie?
Probably. I think it's more Scream.
Yeah, but Michael Myers is the reason that Ghostface slow walk follows.
Yes.
So you can tie all these threads back to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nothing in Family Guy.
Really?
That I could find, but Simpsons.
Of course.
Apparently there's a Simpsons one. And, you know,
Treehouse of Horrors.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I can't remember what. But Ned Flanders goes crazy. Oh, there's the Treehouse of Horror. Oh, no, there's another one when, like, Homer's, like, goes to Lisa. I'm like, I'll sing you a song to calm you down.
Yeah.
And he sings the Halloween music. He goes, do, 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 do. And then in The Simpsons, Ned Flanders goes crazy, and then the doctor's like, "May God have mercy on us."
Ned.
Donald Pleasance wasn't the intended.
Oh yes,
thing.
Yes.
The role of Dr. Loomis was intended for Peter Cushing, who had recently appeared as Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars.
Yeah, probably couldn't afford him after that.
Cushing's agent rejected Carpenter's offers due to low salary.
Yep.
Christopher Lee was approached.
Of course.
But he turned it down.
Because he's like, I'm better than this.
I'm Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
But then later he told John Carpenter that was the biggest mistake of his career, declining that role.
It would have been so good.
Because Christopher Lee would have been good.
Yeah.
Because then he wouldn't just have been the guy from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That's all he is. So
I'm not going to go into it.
No.
But look up Christopher Lee's life.
Yeah.
It's
basically James Bond.
Yeah, he's basically... Well, Ian Fleming was his cousin.
Yes.
And he based James Bond on Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
And then Christopher Lee met Tolkien. Peter Jackson loved having Christopher Lee on set because he was the only one in the cast who had met Tolkien. And Tolkien knew he was an actor. And so when they were reading the books, Tolkien was like, if they ever make a movie about it, I'd love you to play Gandalf. Instead, he played the bad one. Played the opposite, literally the opposite of Gandalf.
Yeah, he's white, not grey.
Yeah.
Wait.
Saruman the white and grey. And then Gandalf goes grey to white.
I saw a very funny clip of this thing on TikTok that's like improv people. And it's like a game show. It's a very weird thing. And it's like, you have to do this scenario. Yeah.
Buzzer stations.
Yeah. And it was very funny though.
Game Changer, it's called.
Yes. It goes, you have to do Saruman.
Yep.
But as Donald Trump. And it was hilarious. And the guy's like, we're going to build a big tower.
It'll be a great tower. Best towers anyone ever seen. Maybe I'll build 2.
And he goes, and the orcs are all going to do this. It was very funny. And I haven't even seen that much of Lord of the Rings. So imagine if you'd seen it.
Well, there's plenty to see.
So then it was also, it won a few awards, like, there's horror specific awards.
It's the
Saturn Awards.
Saturn, wrong planet. Very different.
And it's on the AFI list of 100 Year 100 Thrills.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Number 68.
Okay.
It was nominated for the best movies, but didn't make the 100 list, which isn't surprising.
Yep.
And it was nominated, but didn't make the heroes and villains list for Michael Myers. Yeah. So, I think we touched on them before with I think we spoke about it last week. Or the week before. When we did Superman. Whenever we did that.
Yeah.
I've lost track of time.
That list is an odd list.
Yeah, because it's more just not so much, superhero and horror and stuff,
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
Shall we give some awards?
Let's.
All right. The extras one, again, difficult.
Difficult, there weren't that many. You know what was difficult?
Couldn't afford any.
You know what was difficult?
What?
Finding a best one.
Yeah. The worst one, named after Andy Millman, Ricky Gervais's character from Extras. I've got, when they get to the hardware store, there's a guy that fully turns and, looks at tells everyone that in his group that, the car's here, and, nods at the girls. Like, I don't know if you're meant to do that.
Yeah.
I think you're meant to just have your little chat about whatever happened in the hardware store.
Mine were just both from the opening.
Yep.
The boyfriend, mainly because he's bad at sex.
Worst sextra.
Worst sextra. Hey.
I don't have
it didn't work. The buttons don't work. And then I wrote Michael's parents.
Yeah, because they just stand
because they go,
Michael?
And then the mum just is standing there just looking like annoyed.
Yeah.
Like
you better not have got the blood on the carpet.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Slowly zoom out and they're just like...
Yep.
Also, did you notice the jack-o'-lantern from the opening is on the porch?
Oh, same one?
Same one.
Oh, well done, John. I think it goes to the parents.
I mean, they're pretty bad.
Pretty bad. Like, they let their son kill their daughter.
Like, they don't go, my 6-year-old son has a bloody knife.
Yeah.
Let's run in and see what's happened. They just stare at him and he's just like looking distant.
Wait for John Carpenter to zoom out.
Yeah.
Best extras? I wrote, there aren't many and they're all pretty natural.
I wrote Michael Myers. What? Yeah, there aren't really any. You know, maybe the kids that were gonna
the bully kids
sneak into the house. I don't know.
Hey, Lonnie, get your
yeah.
Weird.
That might come up later.
Yep. Actually, one more nomination for worst extra was the teacher in their English or philosophy class because she is boring as fuck.
Yeah.
And fate, it seems to have come up to catch up with this character.
What is the difference between fate of this and fate of that?
And then Laurie answered the question.
That we didn't even hear because she wasn't paying attention.
But also,
you're just to show that she's smart.
You're so boring as a teacher. You can't then be annoyed the kids aren't paying attention to you.
Well, it reminded me a bit of the teacher from Hairspray.
Oh, yeah.
Mount Everest is the highest. Now I sound like the person doing that radio ad in A League of Their Own. Mr. Harvey, like your candy bars, you're completely nuts.
The best extra is, I don't know.
The boyfriend on the phone? Like, 'cause you don't see him. I don't know.
No?
I don't think there is one.
Okay. Null.
Not
Sorry,
awarded.
Estelle Reiner.
Not awarded.
N.A.
Bob was almost going to be one, but he is terrible and is in it too much.
Yeah. The Halle Berry X-Men Worst Line Award.
All right.
Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there. Not only because it's badly delivered.
Yes.
But get your ass away from there?
Yeah.
What is he saying?
But it's also the fact that then afterwards he was like, that was funny. I wrote... Actually, I don't know if she would qualify as best extra. You know, the nurse in the car.
Who even lets them out? Who lets them out anyway?
Since when did they let them wander around? Like, it's pouring fucking rain. I don't think this is a choice.
Yeah. This is not, here, it's exercise time, out you go.
Out you go. Rain's good for you.
Yeah.
Can she be an extra?
Maybe that's how they're so strong, is that they undergo a training regime.
In the elements, like the SAS.
Camp. Yeah.
SAS Haddonfield.
SAS Asylum. It's Ryan Murphy's new one.
Murphy's next one, SAS Asylum.
I'd rather watch SAS Asylum than that flog that's on SAS Australia.
SAS Australia.
Because I want to watch that show, right?
Yeah.
I'd love to see those people doing that stuff.
Yeah.
But he's a flog.
He's meant to be a flog.
Yeah, I know, but like Pete Evans was a flog. Anyway, let's not go there. I think she says too much. She's in that whole scene.
Yeah.
She talks a lot and smokes a lot.
I also wrote, hey, jerk, speed kills. Because he's not really driving that fast.
No.
And then he stops and just goes, I'm going to study your face so I know who to kill later.
Good. I wrote, I'm nominating Bob for, then we rip Lindsay's clothes off.
Yes.
Like, oh, no, thank you.
I wrote that as well. And then after that, I was like, all right, worst line's done.
Yep. That's it.
It has to be that. Although I did write
clothes off.
Laurie, and she had her keys that for whatever reason she kept in her knitting bag. And then she went over and then she came back and she didn't have the keys and she's in her pocket. She's going, the keys?
Yeah, that's probably unnecessary.
I think it's just bad acting, Jamie Lee. But I think, and then we rip
Lindsay's clothes off is terrible and inappropriate. The most crying, I didn't cry.
Okay, good.
Surprisingly, I didn't cry. The most iconic scene, is it just him standing there?
Well, I was thinking, is it just him standing near the bush on the street?
I think so.
And then, you know how you did, it's just Superman flying. Is it just all the time that he's just standing there?
It's got to be. It's just him standing.
And then I wrote her in the wardrobe.
I wrote, or him holding a knife up, or her holding a knife up.
Yeah, and then I wrote Bob swinging from the doorway, but I don't know if that's iconic so much as just really good.
It's good. I think it's just him standing.
Yeah. I think especially more
throughout
iconically the one next to the hedge.
Yeah.
And then outside the classroom. And then outside the house.
In the clothesline.
And then he pops up at the back seat of the car. That was really good, actually.
So the iconic scene is Michael Myers standing.
Yep. Or could it be him slowly walking down the stairs?
Could be. No, I think standing next to the hedge.
Yeah.
Standing next to the hedge is it.
It's a very short scene, but it's iconic.
It's much shorter. Well, but it also comes up 4 times, him just standing there throughout the movie. That's the I Am Your Father most iconic scene.
Yep.
And that's it.
That's it.
Anything more to say about Halloween?
I think it's good. I think it does still hold up. In terms of being a suspenseful
I made sure I watched it in the dark.
You have to watch it in the dark, and you have to make sure that it's not when the football stadium that you live near has fireworks or sirens.
Siren? Oh, siren.
Siren, like the final siren. Well,
siren.
It's Footscray,
yeah.
So
yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Bloody fireworks went off.
Didn't you know?
No, I didn't know. But I didn't know there were going to be fireworks.
They pop a thing in your mailbox?
They have before, but...
Yeah. They put it on the Facebook pages. That's how I knew about it.
All right.
It's the only way I remember.
But I also didn't realise that it was open again because they've been doing work on it. I was like, did people go?
It was the first game last night. Yeah, it was back. People went. It was good. All right. Our top 5 this week, because we are reviewing the movie Halloween, starring Jamie Lee Curtis.
Is top 5 Halloween movies.
Is our
Not specifically Halloween, the series.
Our top 5 Nepo Babies.
Okay.
Wow. This is
I have to say, this was almost as hard as last week.
Yeah. We've got some hard ones. There's top 5 John Williams, top 5 Pixar movies.
Yeah.
They were difficult. And now the top 5 Nepo Babies. We have decided to rank based on the quality of them as an actor.
Yes.
We could have done how big their career... Did they get their big break just because of the Nepo?
Yeah.
Right?
Which, for mine, all... no. Mine, go. Yep. Because then that would be number 1 for Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis would be number 1. We could have had, longevity of career.
Yep. My number 1 would probably be the same.
My number 1 would not be the same.
Oh, Emma Roberts.
Why? We could have done, speaking of Emma Roberts, they're still around because of the Nepo, despite their talent.
Charlie Sheen.
So Charlie Sheen was on my alternate list.
I had a list of 15.
If we were doing a list of not so talented but still around, Charlie Sheen, Emma Roberts,
yep,
Bryce Dallas Howard,
yes,
are definitely on that list.
Charlie Sheen almost gets a bonus point because his real name isn't Sheen.
Yeah, he changed his name to match his famous father's
Whereas Emilio
Estevez
is like...
Yeah. I've got some honourable mentions as well.
I have a few honourable mentions.
But we will get to those. Actually, I have quite a few honourable mentions.
I've whittled mine down to 4.
So I looked at a lot of lists and some are like, Nepo Babies. And it's like...
Ben Platt's dad who's a producer of something.
Yeah.
No, that's not a thing.
But then also on this list was Elizabeth Olsen is famous because of Mary-Kate and Ashley. No. No. Or it's like
Although potentially.
Mum was a Broadway dancer and this person is a movie star.
Yeah.
No. Or like this person was an actor and so this person has released one album.
Yes.
No, doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Yeah.
But, all right, my top 5.
Okay. What is your number 5,
One
Lee?
that I learnt this week.
Oh, you just learnt this week?
I learnt this week about Mariska Hargitay
Oh, Mariska Hargitay.
being the daughter of Jane Mansfield.
Jane Mansfield.
And she,
So because
even though...
look, how can you not say they look a lot alike?
Well, I've never
They
met
don't.
Jane Mansfield. I don't know. She's not movies,
She's not, but
she's very good.
very successful.
And very successful.
She's
and
done
an
one
Emmy winner.
show for 20 years.
Still, she's done one show very well.
Yeah.
And people watch that show because of her.
Hi, Mum, if you're listening.
Because they love her. And
She's very good.
Won an Emmy. So Mariska Hargitay is in my number 5 spot.
Yes. My number 5 spot
Yep.
is Carrie Fisher,
Oh, okay.
the daughter of Eddie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds.
Yep.
And then mother of Billy Lord. So Billy
Yep.
Lord's a Nepo grandbaby.
Well, yeah. That put Billy Lord in my honourable mentions because she's a third generation.
Billy Lord's only around because,
My number
It's the only reason she was in
4
Star Wars.
Yeah, but she's been in other non-Star Wars things.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller is my number 4.
Ooh.
Jerry Stiller's son. He's very good and has had a very successful career.
Yeah. My number 4 is Angelica Houston.
She didn't come up on any list that I looked at.
She is the daughter of director
John
Huston.
Yeah.
And the granddaughter of actor Walter Huston. And their families, they've all won Oscars. And
well, maybe I should put her in.
Walter Huston and Angelica Houston won acting Oscars for movies that John Huston directed.
Well, there you go. That's a whole
And that's
family
number 4.
thing. Yeah. Well, you've done a bit more research into this than me, obviously. Angelica Houston I really like.
Because I think she's had a decent career.
And you know
as
what?
Angelica Houston.
You know what's coming up next?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
My
What a
number
good segue on
3.
intention.
My number 3 is Liza.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she was very big
Uh-huh.
and very good.
Yeah.
The daughter of Mr. Minnelli.
Vincenti.
Vincenti Minnelli and Judy Garland.
Yeah.
And it also means that in the blog article, I can link to our cabaret review.
Good.
Yeah.
My number 3 is the only male on my list,
Oh, okay.
Michael Douglas.
Oh, yes.
And he
Son
is
of
the
Kirk.
father. Yeah, son of Kirk Douglas Spartacus.
And the father of Dakota Johnson.
No,
No. I
No.
got that confused.
that's Don Johnson.
Yes.
Because Johnson.
Yeah. But Debbie Reynolds,
Martin Sheen, Charlie Sheen.
Debbie Reynolds, Carrie Fisher, Billy Lord.
Yeah,
it doesn't
but
work.
that's women. Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Women. You're making different rules for women. My number 2 is Oscar winner Jamie Lee Curtis.
Okay.
Because she has proven the longevity of her career. Yes, she got her big break.
Yeah.
Because she was Janet Leigh's
But
daughter.
she's not famous now still because she's Janet Leigh's daughter.
No.
And Tony Curtis's daughter.
People
maybe mention him.
She is very talented actress as proved by her Oscar. And
She didn't deserve. Yep.
the longevity of her career.
Yes.
Your number 1?
My number 2.
Didn't you just do number 2,
No,
Michael
number
Douglas?
3, Michael Douglas.
Oh, okay.
My number 2 is Nisa.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. Just because she talks also it's just she does stuff with Judy Garland. That's why she got her break, really.
Oh,
and
okay.
she's very famous and very good and very talented.
Yeah, which is the reason, the list.
You know what? Now I've mentioned that, she's probably going to die.
Isn't she already dead?
It's like when I said the word Dumbledore the other day. No, she's not dead. Don't tell me Liza's dead.
Oh, no, no.
She's just not well.
Yep.
It's been a tough life.
All right, my number 1.
What do you want to do? Honourable mentions?
Oh, yeah. So, honourable mentions.
Uh-huh.
Dan Levy.
Yep.
He's
not
very
an
good.
honourable mention for me.
He is the son of Eugene Levy.
Yeah.
And yes, he got his big break by writing himself a role as the son of Eugene Levy. But the show, the acting, the writing is so good that I had to give him an honourable mention.
My first honourable mention is Kate Hudson.
Yep. Okay.
Daughter of Goldie Hawn.
You know, Wyatt Russell is an actor, son of Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that till this list. He's not that great.
Kate Hudson. Very good career. I watched Almost Famous not long ago.
I've got 7 honourable mentions. Is that too many?
Might be a bit too many.
Sophia Coppola.
Ooh, okay.
Award-winning writer
It's
and
more
director.
outside the box. I just did, actors. Yeah, no, that's good.
My other one's out of the box too, Miley Cyrus.
Mine's Cruz Hewitt. No joking.
Miley Cyrus.
Okay.
She is bigger than Billy Ray now.
Cyrus.
She's bigger than Billy Ray.
She's bigger than Billy Ray.
Actor and singer. And
daughter of Dolly.
oh yeah, well, yeah, that's Nepo too.
Yeah, my next honourable mention is Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
Daughter of Bruce Paltrow and Blythe Danner.
Who also, according to these lists, is a Nepo mum because Apple has done some modelling.
Nope. Well, actually, yeah, Apple Martin. You know.
I have 2 honourable mentions for grandchildren in Dakota Johnson and Billy Lord.
Yeah.
Because they are third-generation Nepos.
Yeah, that's true. Tippi Hedren, Melanie Griffith, Dakota
Johnson.
Debbie Reynolds, Carrie Fisher,
Billy Lord.
Yeah.
Neither of them have quite made the level of their parents yet, though. Or grandparents.
Oh, God, no.
Although Tippi Hedren was in 1 movie.
She was in 2.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if Billy Lord's... if Billy Lord has a career that overshines Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher, that's a fucking good career.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she's not going to do it. It's just will be very hard.
She was good in,
she was
in Scream Queens.
With Jamie Lee.
And then she was in Ticket to Paradise. And as much as that was a by-the-numbers movie, it was very good. She's also in Booksmart, which I haven't seen, which I want to make sure I do go and see. And she has been in some American Horror Story stuff.
She was in... I just twigged this. She was in an episode of Will and Grace because Grace's mum was played by Debbie Reynolds.
Yeah.
And Billy Lord played Grace's niece.
Well done.
So Billy Lord played Debbie Reynolds' granddaughter.
Yeah.
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 Very
good.
I knew that when it happened, but I only just thought of it now because they do talk about her in the thing after she passed away.
I've got 2 other big honourable mentions in Carrie Fisher and Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes.
Because Kiefer Sutherland is very good and has had quite a big career, and Carrie Fisher is Leia.
My other ones are...
And the woman with the gun in Blues Brothers.
Jamie Lee Curtis is an honourable mention for me.
Rough.
And Laura Dern.
Yeah. Bruce Dern.
Bruce Dern and Diane Ladd is her mum. And she was quite big in her day. The other honourable mention I'm going to give, because I have a feeling that they should have a very good career, Maya Hawke.
She will, I think, have quite a big career. She actually is...
She's a very good actress from the 2 things I've seen her in.
Yep.
And she looks like Uma Thurman.
Yeah.
So...
Well, no, she looks mostly like Uma Thurman, but definitely Ethan Hawke had something to do with it.
Yeah, you can see this.
She doesn't look like Ethan Hawke, but she looks like Ethan Hawke had something to do with her conception.
Okay, I am hoping beyond all hope that we have the same number 1, or you've missed a biggie.
Well, I've probably have missed a biggie. My number 1 is Michael Douglas.
Okay.
He's very good.
My number 1 is Jane Fonda.
Jane Fonda, actually, I should have put in an honourable mention. In terms of longevity of career, Jane Fonda, yes, definitely.
Longevity of career and acting ability.
Yeah.
Jane Fonda is above all that we have mentioned.
Oh, do I need to change my list then?
No, that's your opinion.
I take out Ben Stiller, bump the others down, and put Jane
You're just
Fonda
saying
at the
that
top.
Ben Stiller is a better actor than Jane Fonda.
Yeah, I regret that now. That's our top 5 for Nepo Babies. If you have a top 5, then you can get in the Facebook group and we'll chat about it there.
Yeah.
Tough list.
What are your thoughts on Nepo Babies, people? Are they a thing? They are a thing. You can't say they're not a thing.
No, they're not a thing. But also, like, I don't understand why people have a go at them.
No.
Because in so many other areas of our life, nepotism happens.
Yep.
But, like...
Peter Dacos. Josh Dacos.
But if,
Darcy
like,
Moore.
a dad owns a plumbing business, right?
Yeah.
And then the son becomes an apprentice plumber, that's okay. But if, like, Janet Leigh says to John Carpenter, cast my daughter, that's not okay.
No.
Or if, like, the CEO of a corporation makes their son the next CEO,
that's why I'm fine.
That's not okay?
Yeah. Well, it depends if they're, Kendall Roy or not in Succession. Or if they're...
Well, it's about to happen with the Murdochs.
Oh, Lachlan. But he's been waiting a while. You can't fucking make it worse,
The whole world's been waiting a while for him to drop off.
But that's why I'm fine with, they might get their break, a la Jamie Lee Curtis. Might get their break because they're a Nepo.
Yeah.
But she hasn't had a 45-year-long career because she's a Nepo baby. She's had a 45-year-long career because she's a good actress.
There are a lot of ones that are going to be found out as less talented. Jaden Smith. Because it doesn't
Cuba
last.
Gooding Jr.'s son. I've forgotten his name. Mason Gooding.
He's okay.
He's all right.
See in...
Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid will be okay.
He is in Love, Simon.
Yes.
He's the good-looking black one.
Yeah. And he's also in... isn't he 13 Reasons Why is the good-looking black one as well?
No, he's not in that. He's in something I watched somewhat recently.
Something similar.
He's in Scream. He's in one of the Screams,
he's in Scream as the good-looking black one.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because he's a good-looking
black
man.
Who else did I just pop up? It came up yesterday or something. Zoe Kravitz. You know who's had a long career? Lenny?
Well, there's a few that weren't on our list.
Deacon Felipe?
Drew Barrymore.
George Clooney, not so much. That's Nepo nephew.
Yeah, okay.
She was in an early episode of ER, which I thought was quite
If
fun.
I said the name Grace Gummer to you,
Grace
and
Gummer
told you
is
that
Meryl
it wasn't
Streep's
a
daughter.
porn star.
Yeah, Mamie Gummer, Grace Gummer. They're Meryl Streep's.
Not really like a career, though.
No. What has she done?
An interesting one is Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Because Nicolas Cage is the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah.
And apparently hounded him for a screen test and an opportunity to be in one of his films.
Yeah.
But he said no for a very long time.
Maybe,
so almost Nicolas Cage's success is despite his uncle.
Yeah.
So maybe that's another list.
There was some other list I came up with. Well, Colin Hanks, end of discussion.
Yeah. But also, like, some of the ones on these Nepo Baby lists don't match. Like Quincy Jones's daughter, Rashida Jones.
Yeah.
Like...
She didn't go into music. It's like what I've said about Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf's kids. Do not play tennis. Pick another sport because you're going to be athletic.
Yeah.
Pick another sport because you'll just get direct comparison all the time. What's his name has already... And he's not even that good.
Cruz Hewitt.
No. American kid. His dad played, but his dad was all right. But his...
Michael Chang.
Sebastian... No, lost it.
Or someone like Maya Rudolph is the daughter of singer-songwriter Minnie Riperton. But that's not why she's famous.
What about Red Foo? Isn't he like Barry Gordy's something?
Yeah, Barry Gordy's grandson.
Tracy Ellis Ross.
Red Foo, Tracy Ellis Ross.
Because, yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow is a Nepo mum and a Nepo baby. We've already said that. That's it for Nepo Babies.
I'm very annoyed.
Jump in the Facebook group and we'll talk about
this,
it. Because we can talk about it for a long time. This tennis player. I saw a TikTok the other day. There's a young American tennis player who does really good impersonations of other tennis players. And there was like an interviewer interviewing him, and he'd start a question with the name of a player. He's like, so Roger, blah, blah, blah. And then he'd answer as Roger. Very well. Then he'd go, oh, so Rafa. And then he'd just change and be Rafa all of a sudden. Even like the little mannerisms and the tuck the hair behind the ear and all that stuff. It was very good. I can't remember his name.
I can't remember this guy's name either.
Doesn't matter.
Sebastian Corda.
Okay.
Yeah. His dad was Peter Corder, who was just all right. But then, like, well, it's also he was playing when it was, like, very good other players. You know, it's like anybody who's been playing men's tennis for the last 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah, he's had some tough competition. Anyway, that's not about movies.
No.
If you want to chat about Nepo Babies, then there'll be a post about that in the Facebook group, which is linked in the episode description. That's it. Next week, we are going to do, we've already hinted at it, and you should have guessed it, because it is starring Angelica Houston. We are doing The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. No.
Yay!
We are doing Addams Family Values.
Yay.
So, can you get a 6 degrees from Jamie Lee Curtis to Addams Family Values?
Yes, I can.
I'm sure we can. Can we do it better than we did it last week?
Yeah.
So, Angelica Houston or Raul Julia or Christina Ricci, Joan Cusack, Jamie Lee Curtis. Angelica Houston has done
We'd probably have to go Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis. Angelica Houston also gets us Witches, which doesn't really help other than Rowan Atkinson.
And Bubble, yeah.
Oh, and Bubble, yeah.
I'm going like Angelica Houston and Jack Nicholson. Now I'm doing that thing where I can't really think of Jamie Lee Curtis movies.
Everything Everywhere All at Once, All the Halloweens, True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Angelica Houston was in Addams Family Values.
Yes.
With Joan Cusack.
Yes.
So you have to sit through him again.
I know.
Who was in... Oh, just slipped out of my bloody mind.
Toy Story.
Who was in In and Out with Kevin Kline.
Yep.
Who was in Fish Called Wanda with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, very good. That'll work. Thanks for listening to another episode of Two Drink Cinema. Next week, we are watching Addams Family Values, so you can get that. And I'll just double check that it is on a streaming.
Nostalgia.
It is Nostalgia. The Addams Family Values from 1993. In Australia, you can watch on Binge or on Stan.
Nice.
That doesn't help any foreign listeners.
You can watch it on Hulu or Max. I don't fucking know.
Probably. Thanks for listening. Join the Facebook group. Follow us on the socials. Subscribe to the podcast and like and subscribe if you've got the YouTube. Leave us a review on Apple or Spotify if you're listening on those platforms. Thanks, Brett.
Thanks, Lee. Cheers. Thanks for listening to Two Drink Cinema. We would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which this podcast was produced and pay our respects to elders past and present.
If you'd like to support the podcast, either leave a tip or become a member for early access to these episodes by using the link in the show notes.
Join the Facebook group for more chat about the movies we review, and make sure you follow us on the socials to keep up to date.
Hit the subscribe button and leave us a review on your podcast app.
Happy viewing and drink responsibly.